Hello everyone, my name is Maiorov Nikita. I'm international grandmaster, and in this video, uh, I will share my knowledge on Nimzo-Indian defense. Nimzo-Indian defense arises after the next move order: d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, and now bishop b4. The idea of this move is to control the central square and to fight for the central square e4. So now e4 is a very bad idea because of knight e4. Um, Modern theory, this opening is considered one of the best uh, approach against d4. But what concerns me, I think that this opening is not good solution for weaker players, for amateur players, because there are a lot of options for white against this opening, and you have to memorize a lot of information. For this reason, I think that for amateur players, it's better to play uh, Queen Gambit decline. Okay, but in this video, I try to show you some brief information, and this video will be brief setup uh, how to play with black. Okay, bishop b4. Um, One of the most popular lines against bishop against Nimzo-Indian was e3. It is called Rubinstein variation, and when I started to study Nimzo-Indian for black, this I thought that e3 is the most popular way for white to fight against Nimzo-Indian. But but nowadays, it was 20 years ago, but nowadays, no, this is not the most popular way. And nowadays, white players prefer different ways to play against Nimzo-Indian. For example, Queen c2, sometimes Queen c2, sometimes Bishop d2, and sometimes dangerous option for black, very aggressive move f3, and even a3. So recently there was a game between um, super grandmasters. Mm, White was Jordan Van Forest, and black was Anish Giri, but I'm not sure about this. Okay, so and there are many options for white. First is a classical Rubinstein variation, which was popular. It was one of the main approach for white in the middle of 20th century. E3, Queen c2. It is called classical variation, I think. But to my mind, from my point of view, uh, this is a Kasparov variation to my mind, and it's because when I study this line for white, one of the Gary Kasparov was a big fan of this line for white. Queen c2, knight f3, normal move, just to develop this knight, also dangerous for black. Bishop g5, now this move is not popular. What else? And g3, even g3, Romanician variation. So, okay, what to do for black? e3, for example. And against Nimzo-Indian, black has two strategies. The first strategy, just to play for blockade. So, to give up bishop, and then to attack and to block double pawn, c4, c3. For example, c5, bishop d3, knight c6, knight f3, bishop capture on c3, b capture on c3, and d6. And for example, now e4, e5, and this is a very typical position, and very, I think, the key position of Nimzo-Indian. It is called the wall of Robert Hubner. This is a very interesting position, and I strongly recommend you to I strongly recommend you to start analyzing Nimzo-Indian with this position. So also you can use this strategy against other systems. For example, the same idea again, this line. Yes, 95. First castle, 45. Also playable for black. And even again this system, you can play c5, and against d5, d6, and again give up the bishop, and to play for blockade. No, h5, important move with the idea to stop this g4 plan, and then knight f5. Okay, and so you can find a very instructive game of Robert Hubner, and he won with black against some uh, some woman international master or maybe grandmaster. Okay, I not remember. So I remember that it was Robert Hubner, but I don't remember who was white. So this is one strategy, and the other strategy, how to play against how to play Nimzo-Indian with black, and this is a modern strategy. So just to transpose to the Queen's Gambit declined. For example, the typical situation is like this: knight g, bishop d3, and now d5. So first bishop b4 to develop bishop and to finish the development of the king side, and then d5. So and now the structure after c takes d5, e takes d5 is very similar to Queen's Gambit decline, Carlsbad system, but the difference that the bishop is on c1. In Carlsbad system, the bishop is on g5. This is very important difference, and I think that this and this favors black side. this difference favors black side. And the same against bishop g2, this a3, for example, bishop d6, for example. So c takes, it takes, yeah, maybe 4 and something like okay 8. So again, very similar to um, Queen's Gambit decline, but the bishop is, but white has a problem of dark square bishop. So, and the same strategy against f3, for example, d5, a3. Yeah, but here you black has to give up this bishop and then to play c5. This is a most principal way for white to play, and here it's very important queen e5. The idea that normal, so with the idea to return this pawn and to get good position. Okay, and the same system against this, I think it's also playable d5. You can play this 3 and then, for example, c5 here. Yeah, but against this, I think that okay, e takes d5, bishop d3. This is a very old position. There is a very famous game between Capablanca, and in this game, this position was met for the first time. Yeah, b6. Then the idea to play bishop a6 and to trade these bishops, and white's idea is to play f3 with the intention to play e5. So, and the main strategy for white in this position is to prepare for the e5, and for this reason f3, knight g3, rook a2, rook e2 is a very typical possibilities for white side in this position. Very typical moves for white side in this position. So, okay, and now a few words what to do in this case against queen c2. So, and against queen c2, you can play the same idea d5. So, like Queen's Gambit declined. And here white has two options. First is capture on d5, and the second option is a3 immediately, with the idea to get bishop pair and to get uh, bishop pair advantage. Okay, and here black has to play very energetically, because if white, the point that if white finishes the development, white get a big edge, positional edge, because of two bishop, and this bishop would be very strong in this case. And for this reason, you have to play very fast, very energetically with black, and black has a lot of options. For example, knight e4, queen c2, one option is, and this, and this one. So the main line is like this. And now there is short castle, or maybe queen f6. Sorry, queen f6. Black has very strong compensation for the pawn, because the pieces are black's pieces are extremely active in this position, and black have mm, and black should be very careful here. And if you decided to play, and if you um, would decide to play this position with white, you have to memorize a lot of theoretical variations. What else? Also interesting, but I think it's not enough for equality, but very interesting line. This is this gambit, very interesting. So e4, e5. So the next option for black is, yeah, the normal move, short castle. And this is also this position was played many times by Vladimir Kramnik, and he's a big specialist of this line. This line is very unpleasant for white in this system, in this queen c2 system. And also there is nothing wrong, and also this line is very good. It's queen c4 line. So d takes c4 line, then b and then b6, with the idea to develop pieces. So, and what about c takes d5? I like normal move e takes d5, bishop g5. Yes, and here black has um, not a lot of, but okay, black has some interesting options. When I started to analyze this line more deeply, it was 15, 18 years ago. The main line was this one, yeah, g4, very aggressive, and it was very unpleasant for white at this time. So bishop f5, black plays very active, and so bishop e5 with the threatening knight g3. And okay, but nowadays this line is not so dangerous for white. Okay, again this line is so if you study this line more careful, so this line is very it's enough for equality, but it's not easy. White has some ideas. For example, against knight e4 there is a rook c1. Ah no, sorry, e3. Yes, rook c1 is interesting. Jan Gustafsson recommendation. Also there is a bishop b8. So okay, knight f3, Drave's idea, very beautiful idea. So the idea that again this move, um, yeah, knight d4, rook sacrifice. Yeah, and this position is then long castle, I think. Ah, sorry, no, I think knight d6 first, king f8, and now long castle. So I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, but this line is very dangerous. Yeah, but yeah, 100% that white has to sacrifice his rook. Yes, and now the position, black's position is very dangerous. I think that the better option is queen e5. Okay, but this g5 is quite dangerous line. And nowadays is very popular. I think that solid approach, short castle, then bishop e6. I think this is a very solid and good line for black. If you so you can see Michael Adams games. He's a big specialist, and he. Okay, what else? And also very fashionable line is g5. knight g3, and computer recommendation knight c6. So it looks very stupid because usually in queen's queen's gambit decline structures, this is a very bad idea to uh, put knight before the pawn. But here this is a concrete idea, so the idea is to attack this pawn and then h5. So this is a concrete idea, and then I want to play this, so h4 and this one, e7. Yeah, and this is this idea very okay. This line is quite critical nowadays. It's better to study this line with computer because this is typical computer idea. Black fight for the initiative, and it's quite dangerous. And if you see this position uh, with white for the first time, and you play with white, let's see, you can lose the game mm, very fast. So also against queen c2 line, there is nothing wrong with castle, short castle. This is other uh, solid approach for black. So the main line, this is Kramnik's idea. d6 is also playable. d5, this is a critical line, and the same against knight f3. d5 is very strong. Okay, I think it's enough. I hope this video will be very useful. And if you have some questions, I can you can write in the comment, and I will cover more deeply some of these lines in the following videos.